Fantastic, thank you. And I think just in the interest of time, we might have some more folks kind of trickling in here. I'm going to actually make, Naomi, do you mind being my co-host today? And just if anybody trickles in while I'm sharing out slides, you can help to let them into the room.
Sure.
Okay, I'm actually going to so I'm going to make you, and I'm going to add Kyle on here as well. There we go. We got a couple co-hosting folks to help with all of those logistics. And I'm going to go ahead and get slides up for folks. You will see yourselves here in just a second. I think I can do it this way. And then, do you see that full screen now? Great. Okay. So welcome to our annual meeting. This is technically our 2024 meeting, even though it's being held in 2025. It's TBD on whether we are going to try to shift future annual meetings to January. So this becomes our January meeting, and then 2024 was skipped. So stay tuned on that. But for the moment, know that we are meeting in 2025, but reflecting on the things that happened in 2024. But we'll also do a little projecting forward into what's to come in 2025. So it's going to do double duty in that way. So we'll go ahead and we'll call the meeting to order. I've got 12:04 on my clock. So if that's okay with folks, that's the time we'll call our meeting open. And I want to give a quick shout out to all of our 2024 IEA Board of Directors members, inclusive of myself, our Vice President, Jamie Garwood, our Treasurer, Kate, our Secretary, Kyle, and our outgoing directors at large, Kelsey and Megan. Megan is here today, so we can give her a big virtual round of applause for her service to the board for many, many years. And yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out and actually we'll give a round of applause to all of our board members who've been serving over the course of 2024. Awesome. Now it's hard to clap online. I feel like Zoom's always kind of like you only hear one person clapping and then it's awkward. So all of that being said, again, a special thanks to both Kelsey and Megan for all of their work, as well as all of the program committee members, some of whom are here today. I feel like that's in addition to our board, our programming committee is always working hard to make sure that we're doing things and we're providing opportunities for members. So I always want to give a big shout out to the folks who stay committed to that committee as well. Just to give you a quick recap of 2024, we had fewer quarterly meetings, but we also played around with a couple different formats for providing both socialization and professional development opportunities. So we had the 2 quarterly meetings, including one in July on culturally responsive and equitable evaluation. That was presented by Nisa Kurtman. And I'm going to go ahead and count our January 2025 as a 2024 event just because it was in the works for a good chunk of 2024. Our original intention was to have that take place in December of 2024. And the timing, just as it worked out with our presenter, Nuno Munish. Am I saying it correctly, Naomi? I know you practiced really hard on how to pronounce that. Who was wonderful and delightful and joining us from Portugal, coordinating with him, it ended up working out better for January. So it's again, one of those things that's quasi 2024, 2025, but we'll go ahead and count there. But you can see both of those events had really sizable numbers of registrants and attendees. And then we also had our office hours. And that was kind of a fun format for doing some more informal programming. And we had a couple different people kind of step in to host conversations over the couple of months that we did that. And that's something that we could definitely consider doing again. Some of those were really well attended, and the discussions that were taking place were really fruitful. So I definitely think that that was an experiment that had good results. And so we could absolutely look to continue that on into the future as well. I don't think Jamie is here, but she gave us a number update. I believe that the number is always fluctuating. So as most of you know, our membership is on what's considered a rolling basis. So whenever you join, a year from then is when you would be due for renewal. And because our renewal is often linked to programming, it just kind of depends on where people's membership kind of end date is and when programming is. So our numbers are always constantly in flux. I would say anywhere from about 70 to 100 members based on kind of where we are in any given year and where we are in terms of other programming. But I think it's a pretty good number. I feel like we're a good kind of middle of the road sized local affiliate group for AEA. Some have more, a lot have less. So I think we're healthy, but we certainly welcome others to join us. So please do consider spreading the word. Did Kelsey join? I'm sorry, Jamie, did Jamie join? Okay, I just wanted to give her a chance to say anything because I know she does a lot of really great outreach to new members as well over the course of the year too, just welcoming them and seeing how they would like to be engaged. And we're really appreciative of her efforts on that front, just making sure everybody feels welcome and well connected. All right, I know Kyle is here and it looks like you are done with your sandwich. So we are ready to let you share a little bit more about communications and all the great work that you do as the head of our communications team.
Thank you. We send out the monthly newsletters about what's going on. I try to schedule those for the week after, but roughly the week after the board meeting, just when there are updates and programming and other things that are going on. In addition, we do have a LinkedIn page. So sometimes when things come up, when somebody has another event coming up that was not handled in the newsletter in particular, or there are a lot of those that come through that are either discounted or free for IEA members. I try to share those on the website and on the LinkedIn page. The LinkedIn page quickly because it can get right out there right away. And the same with when there are events and also job postings. I try to get those shared on the website and occasionally on the LinkedIn page as well. Not perfect at it, but I'm doing. I try to get those things out there as much as I can. And then the AEA 365 is something that we've done for several years. And that's a great opportunity to take part in their blog. We can show off the stuff that we're doing. This year was a little stranger. I don't know why it just popped up all of a sudden. We're like, oh no, what do we do? But we were able to, with a few new contributions, and then some of our previous ones, we were able to keep submitting to those. I just think that's a great thing that keeps us out there in the world. So I had a great topic for one this year. I just didn't get it written in time. I was looking forward to it, but next year.
Well, and I will say too, I was delighted to learn that we were allowed to repost previous posts. And so that kind of is a game changer in terms of thinking about how we might approach that and thinking about whether we want to take on a week for 2025. I think that sign up is still open. So it's a possibility. And we always welcome contributions. And I honestly think, like, even if we don't have a full week, if we ever had things, if members had things that they wanted to share out, I think that there's probably weeks that are open or weeks that end up having gaps because other groups that have taken on a week aren't able to fill them, that we would absolutely be able to get those posted and work with EA to make sure that that information gets shared out. So if you have things to share, that's one of the perks of being a part of our local affiliate and also the larger AEA universe of folks. And I also wanted to give a really big shout out to Kate and her efforts to create our winter holiday logic model that went out in our holiday newsletter. And I thought it was really fun. Kate, did you want to say anything that was, you had a lot of fun, I think, making it too. So
yeah, so we were excited about our upcoming AI meeting, and just with the craziness and busyness of the holiday season, I decided to make a logic model to help with the promotion of it. And my prompt was literally just create a logic model for the winter holiday season. And ChatGPT put out a pretty good one, actually. I did not really change much of what it spit out, so it was fun.
Awesome. Yeah, it did turn out well, and it was it was a fun idea and a fun product that we were then able to share with members as part of that holiday mailer. Awesome. And I will let you continue, Kate. That I didn't plan that to be back to back, but that works out really well. So I will turn things over to you to kind of give us a financial update.
Okay. So as of the end of 2024, we had just a little over $28,000 in our bank account. In total, our income was 6,690, and our expenses were 4,524. This year looks really different than 2023 because we did have uh, one less Zoom quarterly meeting, but we also did not have the AEA conference / IEA conference either. So the even years tend to be our kind of smaller years regarding income, but that also means fewer expenses as well. So we did have drops in pretty much every category in income except for our sponsorship. Thank you to the Fallen Foundation. They have been great partners for as long as I can remember, and I've been on the board for a while now, in helping us be able to provide honorariums to speakers and things like that. We did still have a decent number of individual event registrations. So these are people signing up just for one particular event that interests them. I do think now that people have kind of moved away from COVID thinking, our out of state membership is kind of reducing compared to what it was, say, in 21 and 22. So that's just something to keep in mind as we move forward. But I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone might have, and happy to share. One thing that we have been able to do in really the last year and a half, I would say, is really, I guess, formalize our bookkeeping with the use of Wave software. It's kind of like QuickBooks, but we're able to more easily track our bookkeeping, but also tie it back to memberships and the types of memberships and things like that. So we can kind of parse things out a little bit better. So, awesome. Answer any questions. But
I think you must have explained it very clearly. So I know Kate is always, open to fielding questions. She provides reports to us each month as part of our board meetings as well. So we are well informed and well equipped with the various tools that are being used to kind of make sure that we're in good financial health. Thank you, Kate. Like Kate mentioned too, I want to give another big shout out to the Follinger Foundation for providing ongoing sponsorship. They have been a very loyal and consistent supporter of IEA, and we're so incredibly appreciative of their sponsorship and support. And it's one of the things that makes it possible to, think big in terms of our programs, that our member income is very modest, but when we have the support of organizations that are able to, provide resources that let us think a little bit bigger than what our organization might otherwise think. And I think that, carrying forward on into this year, it gives us the ability to think a little bit more broadly in terms of how we go about programming for our conference that we are planning to have this year. So spoiler alert, I think it's been alluded to, like every other year, we have things a little bit smaller because we aren't doing those big, conference types things. But this is going to be a really exciting year because we will be planning another face-to-face conference. So since the first time since COVID that we've been able to do that. So with that in mind, let me actually officially segue into new business. The first thing being the fact that our board now will look a little different as we are into 2025. You'll see some of the same members there in terms of president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary, but we're also officially welcoming Suzanne and Naomi on as our members at large, filling the seats that Kelsey and Megan have now vacated. And then I also want to point out too that they're playing special roles within the organization in addition to officially being members at large. So Suzanne has agreed to take on our kind of what we are calling local affiliates liaison. So she's been a regular attendee of the meetings that are held by all of the local affiliates within AEA on a monthly basis, and then sharing what we're doing to that group and then pulling back things from that group to share with us. So it's really, really helpful, having kind of a consistent presence within that organization, I think helps to elevate kind of our standing within the broader network of affiliates, and also helps to really keep us and therefore our ability to keep our members well informed about things going on, not just within AEA, but also within each of the other affiliate groups, which means we do get a lot of great opportunities in addition to the ones that we put out for programming that benefits our members. And then I also want to give a shout out to Naomi, who has been helping with the programming and now steps into the role as programming chair with great training and tutelage from Megan, who has done a wonderful job kind of leading that committee for so many years. And Naomi has now completed her first PD event. The one that we held in January was under her leadership. So I know we're going to have great things in store from Naomi as well. So all of that being considered, we have historically low voting turnout when we have votes, and I think in part, that's on us because we never really have votes that are contested in any way. Like we usually don't, we put forth a slate and it's a pretty good slate that we feel good about. So we don't have a lot of, campaigning going on or that kind of thing. So on the one hand, it's not surprising that we don't get a ton of votes. But that being said, I went ahead, even though the date for voting had passed, I left that there in case anyone wanted to go ahead and cast a vote. This would be a vote for specifically Kate and Kyle. We served 2-year terms, and theirs were terms that were up for election as we head into another 2-year cycle. And then technically, Suzanne and Naomi are then appointed by the board, which we've already done. So the board, given the vacancies of the retiring members, has voted Suzanne and Naomi into those positions. So that being said, I'm going to, we'll officially call our voting cycle closed with that unofficial little extra, just in case anybody did want to cast a vote. and make it more official. But I want to give a big round of applause to both Kate and Kyle for their willingness to serve again and for being elected to serve another term as board of directors members with IEA. So give them another round of applause as well. The other thing that we had begun the process of through communication, which is required, is to let folks know that we had proposed some bylaw changes. And at this meeting is where we would vote those into effect if they are acceptable to everyone. As far as bylaw changes go, they're pretty basic and not like earth-shattering. The reason we are putting forth these changes, and both of them are basically timing changes for when things are happening. It's been the case, I think, informally, that our voting has usually started, late fall, kind of on into the tail end of a given year. And it's not really in alignment with what the bylaws were saying, with having things kind of happening a lot earlier. And then it just kind of got a little bit trickier now that we're doing kind of annual budgeting. And it's like, it's hard to have an annual budget when you kind of come in and you're inheriting the end part of somebody else's thing and all the other things that were just kind of a little bit out of whack, and making it a little bit easier to kind of plan for when things are happening and giving board members a little bit more autonomy over things during the term that they're serving. We just wanted to shift it to more of a calendar year, both for the terms of office as well as the fiscal year, which was also kind of running on that end of October, beginning in November, giving you like a little blip in one year, kind of, we're hoping that the new strategy will make it a little bit easier to keep track of things, and make it a little bit easier to plan for things. So that's the rationale for it. I think it's pretty straightforward, but I want to give people a chance to ask questions or just discuss any of those before we would take a vote on them. I'm going to take that pause as no questions. I am a big fan of things that are very easy to, things that make it simple to kind of know what's happening when. And I think that this is one of those things that will absolutely help with that and make it really clear, what needs to happen when, and make it a whole lot easier in terms of our reporting and budgeting and all of those things. So this is one of those things, because this is an annual meeting and it is an annual meeting of our membership. All members of IEA are eligible to vote. So I would encourage you to do that. Let's go ahead and do it with, because I don't think I see everybody on camera right now. So if you could put that into chat and we'll get a tally. If you can do a Y for I or yes, N for N, and nay or no. And if you would like not to vote, or obviously if you're not currently a member, go ahead and you can skip that. But I think everybody here probably is. You can just give it A for abstain. We'll do that for that. So if you can put that into chat. And I'm seeing mostly yeses. I'm going to cast mine as well. And I think that gets us a yes on 2 bylaw changes. So we will get those updated. And thank you for your patience on that. It's been kind of a long time coming. We had talked about other changes as well, but I think that these were the 2 that were most pressing in terms of just bringing us into alignment with what we were doing and making sure that we weren't going to get ourselves into trouble by kind of following a different calendar in a less official capacity. All right. So with that being said, here's what's to come in 2025. And we alluded to some of those things. Of course, we just held our first PD event. It gets to do double duty as the 2024-2025 event. We're in the planning process for another PD event that will hopefully take place in April or around that time later this spring. I'm really excited about that. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to be holding our first face-to-face conference since COVID. I should have put that there. That's not technically, we have had many amazing face-to-face conferences in the past. This will be the first one that we are seeking to do post-COVID. So after year with online conferences, and obviously the year that we skipped due to AEA, which was kind of its own version of a face-to-face conference, although planned by AEA, not us. This will be a really exciting opportunity to get the ball rolling again in terms of AEA or IEA programming every other year, and an opportunity to bring people together. I think we're still talking about elements that may be accessible to people who aren't able to travel to what will most likely be Indianapolis. So just, trying to make it as easy as possible for people to attend that. So if you have thoughts on that, it may be partially hybrid, things that can be streamed out with others, or maybe we can find ways to, share those out with all sessions out with everybody. So whether we do some, all, or none is still kind of up for discussion. So if you have thoughts on that, please let us know, because this is an event that we want to serve all of our members in some way, and we will work hard to make sure that we are able to do that. We're also hoping to hold another social PD event, some sort of event that we can come face to face together again at the end of next year. And the thinking is that that can be our annual meeting. And we'll be seeking feedback on that as well. So just kind of an opportunity to come together, whether that's in person or online or a mix of both. Again, knowing not everybody is always able to travel to and from different parts of the state based on where they are. So we want to make sure that we're still meeting the needs of our members, even as our membership has started to change a little bit post-COVID again. And then, of course, stay tuned for more news with the IEA newsletter. You should be getting that. If you always check your spam filter and make sure that that's marked to come through to you, so you get all of the info about what's happening and are in the know. And of course, if you are interested in getting involved or helping to plan or host any of the upcoming events, we would love to have you. This all volunteer run organization, and we have, a lot of, great members who help to make everything possible. And we're always looking to have more folks get actively engaged. And it's a great way to kind of become a part of a larger, evaluator community here within the state. And that being said, if there is no other business, I'll pause for a minute. We can go ahead and call the meeting to close at 12:30, but let me pause before we'll make that official. All right, hearing no further business, let's go ahead and make it 12:30 for our call to close. I like it when it's right on the dot. That feels really good. That being said, let me go ahead. I'm going to, actually, let me put this up for a minute, just for everybody. We referenced some of these things over the course of the meeting, but I wanted to make sure that everybody had access to that. So if you aren't already connected with us on LinkedIn, please do. Like Kyle mentioned, that's a place where we're regularly posting information that we get, in addition to putting it on our website. Which has lots of great resources too. So it's not just the events that we're hosting live for everyone. You have access to a wide range of different resources and materials on the IEA website that you should definitely check out, because that's a membership perk that we want everybody to take advantage of. And you can see all the different kinds of membership benefits that we've got there as well. So please make use of those benefits and spread the word to others who you think might benefit as well, because we'd love to have them as a member too. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and stop share because we can spend some time talking, and I'm going to assume, but it doesn't have to be the case, that people would feel more comfortable if I stop our recording at this point, so we can make it official in terms of the end of our business meeting, and then we can kind of just spend some time chatting, which is one of the perks of IEA, getting to talk with other people and check in with one another as peers. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and end our recording and thank everybody who watched us virtually as well for joining today, and we'll see you again soon.